Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube with myself, Mark Carlaw. So there's some news today that's been breaking in the press regarding Said Benrahma. Now, this is something that's been spoken about previously. X revealed this quite some time ago, actually, on Patreon. And now it's come to the sort of general public and the press that Benrahma could be up for sale this summer. Or actually, the club are basically saying that they would look at offers if they're in the right ballpark, which straight away is dividing the fan base massively. It's a very much a kind of 50-50 job here on people's views on where they stand with Benrahma. Firstly, I think that we need to sort of stand back from it and just see what the situation is. Now, Benrahma's been at the club for now 2 seasons. He was bought for £30 million from Brentford when they were in the Championship. Now, I'm of the opinion that he hasn't been an overwhelming success, Benrahma. Now, I do like him as a player, but at times, I'll be honest, I mean, I'm one of those, I do find that he can be quite frustrating at times as well. There's been many occasions this season where I've really questioned his decision-making. But ultimately, I mean, he's put in some decent performances too. So at the moment, the situation is the club are saying that they would look at offers if they're in the right ballpark. Now, this has also been linked to a possible Jesse Lingard return, which is we always seem to be getting linked with. However, if that is the case, let's just say it is, and the press are correct at the moment, that is the deal that effectively West Ham are saying, look, if we can bring in Lingard, then we'd let Benrahma leave for the right price. I've got two minds on this. My first thought is I actually feel for Benrahma. I really do. I don't think he's not tried. I think he's worked hard since he's been at the club. I think he has been working hard to improve. My general feeling is, though, that he was never a David Moyes signing. Firstly, the Will Salthouse connection. Now, I don't know if Will Salthouse is still his agent. I'm guessing so, but I believe that when we'd signed him, he was his agent. Now, straight away, that screams that this was a player that was probably more driven by Sullivan than David Moyes. It was my understanding 2 years ago that when we did sign Benrahma, that Moyes actually preferred Eze, who obviously went on to Crystal Palace. So Benrahma was never top of his list. And I think most of us can agree that it's always been quite obvious that Moyes has never really favoured Benrahma. He's never really been top of his list. Even when he's playing well, he's been taken off as a substitute. He tends to be a bit of a rotation player more than anything. So I have really felt for Benrahma in a way. However, I am actually one of those people that does think that his decision-making is poor at times. It does really lack that kind of cutting-edge Premier League quality at times. The stats are showing, though, he does produce goals and assists and at a pretty decent level. But ultimately, I think if we want to be ruthless, if we want to be a top side, top 6, top 4 chasing side, we need to be having the best players in those positions. And my general feeling of this is that he hasn't really lived up to the expectation. And that's just me being brutally honest. I know some people will disagree with me on that and say that, he has done well and he should be given more time. And I'm not saying that, he's definitely going to be sold or anything like that. I'm not saying that. But if it is the case that, let's just say that Lingard is the preferred option over Benrahma in David Moyes' eyes, I actually agree with it. I really do. I know that Benrahma's got the advantage with age. But I just think when you think back to what Lingard brought to us when he played, there was just that added quality, that real sort of maturity at this level. His decision-making was very good. He was far more clinical. And I just think that that's where Benrahma's lacked, in my honest opinion. Although I will say it is a bit of a shock. I mean, the fact that we are talking about we need a squad with more depth in it, it is a bit strange. However, if the decision is that we want to look to bring in Lingard or somebody else to replace Benrahma, that would be a step up. I'm actually for it. As much as I would feel sorry for Benrahma, because I do think he's not had the best of chances really here. But that's my kind of view on it. Funnily enough, I've carried out a Twitter poll earlier today, and it just shows how close this is. So I've had about over 500 people now respond to it. And at the moment, 53% are saying they prefer Lingard over Benrahma. So it is really tight. And even in the comments section, there's been so many arguments amongst fans. Some are completely pro Benrahma, some are completely pro Lingard. So it really is a split. And I do understand both arguments. I really do. I've always leaned a little bit more towards Lingard. I think that what he brought to us was just so good. It's going to be really interesting to see how this pans out because, as I say, initially X brought this to the table in Patreon a little while ago, saying that this was something that would be a possibility, that the club would listen to offers. And even then, I was quite taken aback. But now, as we're moving obviously into the window, I think the club's intentions on Lingard are quite clear. I think it's quite obvious that Moyes is still a huge admirer and would like to bring him back to the club. So for me, if it means losing Benrahma, if it means selling Benrahma to get Lingard over the line, I'm all for it. I really think that Lingard would be a huge addition to us, especially for next season. I mean, we've got a really, really big season. We know we have. I just think someone with that quality, you know, that ruthless edge. I think really Lingard for me ticks the boxes. We should be going all out for him. And although it would be a shame with Benrahma, I'll be honest, I think it's the right move. That's just my general feeling. Now, if you do have a comment on this, please do add it below. I always try and engage with all the comments as best I can. So, yeah, please do. And obviously hit like and subscribe to the channel, of course, as well while you're there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. So in the meantime, yeah, take care. And there'll be some more videos very soon. Cheers.